Hey everybody, so for week one, module one discussion board prompt, discuss the ramifications of the Tuskegee syphilis study on the trust level for clinical research among the African American community. Also discuss the importance of the Belmont report as it relates to the ethical social work research in the NASW Code of Ethics. So the U.S. government from 1932 to 1972, the U.S. Public Service studied 600 African American men, 2/3 of those who had contracted syphilis, in order to observe the long-term effects of the disease. Now, this you can find in our text, Research for Effective Social Work Practice by Krysick on page 29. So, if we look at that in conjunction with the Belmont report, that was a proactive attempt to educate researchers on the ethical responsibilities, which falls in with the NASW, responsibilities. During this Tuskegee research, the men were refused medications. They weren't given medications that the U.S. government knew was effective for this disease, and due to this, there were men who succumbed to this disease. They died to this disease. Also, wives and children became infected due to the lack of action by those who were conducting the research, due to their lack of providing the medication. That did cause these women and children to become infected, as well as causing the death of these gentlemen who were in this. The ethical implications of these acts, they are absolutely horrific. No one should be denied the human right for medical care, for treatment for a disease that can be cured. It's absolutely appalling that would happen. The Tuskegee study, that burden fell to the rural, poor African American population, and the Belmont report also tells us, that the principle of justice, implies that a study should not be unfair, and one group should not take, and accept the majority of the risk when another group will likely benefit. And you can find that on page 36 as well in our text. I feel that, the Tuskegee, the study, that the trust level for clinical research among the African American community, I feel like that was harmed. I feel like it caused the African American community, as well as other communities, not just the African American community, but also other communities, populations, to have a lack of trust in the clinical research part of healthcare, of the government, of just the greater things. It caused a huge mistrust there. They saw that there was a possibility for treating a disease that these individuals who were involved in this study were not given, and therefore it did cause great harm. It caused a harm that resulted in death of many, and infection of a lot of women and children. And I feel like that caused a huge distrust in the African American population toward clinical research. And I feel like other populations, that they saw that as well, and that it made a huge impact. So we need to be sure that when we're doing research, that we're not just, because syphilis was not just an African American disease. It affected many different populations. And I think that when we're doing research, that when we're researching something that does affect other populations, that we need to be sure that we're not just placing it to the burden of one population.